What is up, guys? Welcome to week 12 of the All In podcast with That'd Be Bryce and Ryan the Rock. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I am exhausted. I'll tell you that much. I just drove about 8.5 hours after sleeping like 4 hours last night, so I look like shit right now.
God.
But it happens. It happens. We're in a beautiful cabin. I showed it to my Instagram story already, but we got a nice pool table. We got a movie. Oh wow, that is just bad quality. We got a Pac-Man machine, movie room. Apologize for the quality, but yeah, no, it's dope here.
That's crazy.
Got a hot tub. Got a fireplace. It's gonna be a good time.
That's nice, man. Did you go with your family?
Yeah, and I'm here with a buddy too, so it's good to have a friend who's been socially quarantining. Don't worry, but it should be a good time.
All right, that's awesome.
But yeah, haven't played too much poker. But the last month of poker has been really good to me, so no complaints there. How's your poker going?
Not well. No, it's been a pretty rough couple of weeks for me.
It is, Chris. It's dope.
Yeah, it is a pretty sweet setup. But yeah, I mean, I think as I start to set more long-term goals for poker playing and stuff, it's getting better. And
I feel like that feeds into our topic today, Ryan.
It does kind of feed into our topic today, which is how we prepare before playing a poker session. I think this kind of comes in two parts. Number one is just, being up on your studying and not just, cramming in 15 minutes of like listening to a poker hand or watching a vlog before you sit down and play the poker table, but like, taking some time out of your day to actually sit down and watch some good content. I subscribe to Solve for Why. I know Bryce is in a couple of different groups. So there's unlimited stuff that's out there right now. And there's a lot of things that are offering really good deals that are online. So, for some people, it's worth even getting a coach. For some people, it's just about getting a subscription and sticking to a plan. But I think the first part is make sure you're studying, and the second part is make sure you're preparing before your sessions.
So in terms of preparation, are we talking more about studying, or are we talking more about like the 20 minutes before, the potential meditating, the potential looking over hands? So what is a typical prep look for you, both before a casino and both before an online session?
Yeah, and I think that's the big difference is that with online, it's allowed me to relax that a whole lot. Because when I would go to the casino, I'd be going after work. And so, I would be thinking about it all leading up to the end of the day. And then also when I get off of work, taking a minute to, on the way over to the casino, listen to like a Just Hands podcast and get my headspace right. And then taking a second in the garage with like, a little bit of music on and something just like to sit down and read an article or something before I walk in, just so that like you're settled, like you've left your work day behind and now you're here. The problem with online poker is that you don't really get that separation. Like I'm work at the same table that we're podcasting from, that I play poker from. So it's hard to separate those things. And you're also at home and it's in your hand. So I've gotten really lazy about preparing before sitting down for a session and not really setting a time for when I'm going to start. It's just kind of like, oh, all right, we're here. Let's, pick up the phone and get going. And that's a bad idea.
Yeah. It's so interesting, and I've talked to some people about this. So my friend Sergio, for example, he actually decides to watch TV during his sessions, which, while it sounds bad because you're not obviously as focused on hands, I think instead of multi-tabling, he single tables, and he's found that it leads him to being less bored. Yeah. So I feel like it very much tailors to like what works for you. So personally, if I'm playing higher stakes, I'm absolutely solely focused on what I'm doing.
Right.
But like if I'm playing like incredibly small stakes, like I could be like talking to a friend on Skype or watching TV or listening to music. But I was talking to Sam, the guy I've been playing Heads Up, and we were talking about how depending on how well you're doing, you listen to different types of music, which is so interesting.
That's interesting.
So when I'm down and if I like feel like I need to cool off a little, like I'll listen to like slower, like sad almost music, like just to calm down. Like if you're blaring this rap, like it's going to make you like more aggressive. Like I totally think your environment can have like a factor, but I'm getting a little sidetracked. So I know a lot of people and a lot of poker coaches stress the importance of meditation. And I know Evan, I'm a bot, has implemented that into his game. So have you done anything like this? Personally, I like to work out before my bigger sessions. And I think sleep is huge. And if you haven't slept enough, even putting caffeine in your body, I don't know how some people feel about that, but just waking you up a little. If you're playing tired, you are just not playing your A game. I can guarantee you, if you're running off 3 hours of sleep, I don't care how soft the table is, it's not your A game.
Right.
And you just have to be very aware and cognizant of how your body's feeling, because it's not just about the people you're playing. Like, you have to know yourself, and I feel like a lot of that comes with just putting a lot of hours into the table and just knowing your body. But like, you want to be healthy, you want to have worked out recently, you want to have enough sleep, you want to be mentally there. Like, if like something bad happened in your life, you shouldn't be hitting the tables.
Yeah, no. I think meditation is super cool, and it's something that I started doing in college. That it's hard, and I think for a lot of people, a way to get started is with like guided meditations, and you can find them all over YouTube, and they're all really amazing.
A ton of applications too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of apps. I mean, I have one. I can't remember what it's called. Insight Timer.
Yeah.
See, I told you it's right there.
That's
and yeah, it plays this certain music, and then I put on like noise canceling headphones, and then you sit somewhere. And it's amazing because trying to clear your brain entirely is actually really, really hard to do, and it can frustrate you so much trying to just shut your eyes and just not think. It's so hard to not think.
I actually think we're talking about preparation, but even after a session, I haven't been as good about this as I should be, but you need to decompress. If you have a horrible session and you lose like $2,000 or something, you need to meditate, and you need to just like, even if it's not meditating, you write it down in the journal. You need to somehow let it go. Otherwise, every single time you have a bad session, you're going to take it out on your loved ones.
Right.
You can't have a shitty day and just go and like be a dick to your girlfriend. Like, that's just not sustainable. No. Like, no one's going to want to be with that. Like, you really have to find a way to decompress and just separate poker and life, or it's just, you're not going to be a profitable poker player. You're not going to be a happy person. So I think both the before and after and during, just everything is so important, and I cannot overemphasize the importance of the little things. And these aren't little things. Like, your mind is huge. Like, you need to be ready mentally, physically, emotionally, all the above for a poker session.
I couldn't agree more.
So I feel like that's a pretty good 7-minute intro into this topic. But
I agree. I think we pretty much covered enough of the important stuff about how you get ready.
For sure. So yeah, just make sure you're doing something, whether it be getting your mind ready. I know Ryan talks about how on Wednesdays after the podcast is his best day of poker.
Yeah.
Like, something as simple as this can be it for him. Like, if you want to watch, a poker vlog, obviously that's not the best study material, depending on what you're watching.
But our
it just gets your mind. Yeah, our podcast, of course. Listen to our podcast. But so just make sure you're doing the right things both before and after your session.
Yep.
But Ryan, do you want to introduce our guest today?
Yeah. So this week, All In welcomes a fellow up-and-coming poker content creator, Stephen Clark, also known as Think Blue Poker. He hails from the West Coast as a 1-3 to 2-5 grinder at casinos all over the Pacific Seaboard, everywhere from Jamal Casino to Ocean's 11 to the Bike. He's not hard to miss at the tables in his signature blue sunglasses and Dodgers jacket. And the pandemic has not held him back from putting up videos each week on his channel, so be sure to go and check him out. Please welcome Steven to the podcast.
Hey, Steven, how are you doing today?
Of course,
pretty
man.
Good. Thank you for the intro, man.
Repping the Dodgers always.
Always.
How long have you been a fan? Are you just like a diehard Dodgers fan?
Since I was very young.
Yeah. I'm from Connecticut, so Red Sox born and raised. It's just how it is.
Born in Boston. I don't even know if you knew that, Ryan. So I'm a Red Sox fan too.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know Bryce was born in Boston. That's a fun
Salem,
fact.
Actually, but same thing.
You can't just say that's Boston.
No, it is. It is. It's the same thing. But very glad.
Houston.
What'd you say?
At least it ain't Houston.
Exactly, not Houston. All right, so the first question we just like to ask people is, how did you get started in poker?
I started when I was young. My dad taught me when I was I actually learned during the summer of the 2003 World Series.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
During the start of the poker boom.
Yeah, I was sitting at home with my dad, and he turned it on. I knew about poker, but I didn't really know about strategy and stuff about it, and he introduced me to the game while we were watching the World Series.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. And so
That's
is
awesome.
that just so you got started there, but
And then at
when was the
18,
point where you,
and then when I was 18, he took me to the Morongo Casino. They're 18 and 18 plus. So I went there, started playing there a lot, and then when I turned 21, he took me over to Hollywood Park, and I actually cashed in my first tournament that day,
That's cool.
and it just started going from there. Started taking it seriously the last couple of years, last 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think so. I watched your video. I've watched all of your videos, but I watched your video on bankroll management, and that's one of the things. Is I'm interested because one of the things you brought up is that you said that you're on your third bankroll, and I'm curious how you got to your third bankroll and what lessons you learned from the first two that you're now implementing now in your third one that's making you more successful.
Main thing was keeping my bankroll aside from other money. I used it for different things other than poker.
You are not alone in that. You are not alone. A lot of people do that.
And it really crushed my bankroll.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think that's huge. Do you find that you're now having more buy-ins at your disposal? Like, do you feel like at the beginning you almost were playing with like 5 or 10 buy-ins in your bankroll, and now you're playing say 20 to 30, or have you upped that, or is it just that separation?
It's that separation, and I am seeing more that I have more buy-ins at a certain level. That's why I've been playing. Like at Hustler, I'll be playing the 2-5 game because the max is a $300 buy-in, so I have about 25 buy-ins at that level.
That's so nuts to me.
60 buy-in game, yeah.
Like, do people just insta-rebuy? Are people nitty? How does that game play?
Oh, you have to watch his vlogs, man. People fire money into the pot.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen a few of them. I definitely have not seen all of them. Ryan is a lot more prepped.
I've watched every single one, man. They're great.
Thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, most of LA is not deeply stacked. That's why, unless you're playing at Commerce, Commerce has a 5-5 that you can buy in at 500, and then Bicycle they have a 2-5 that you can play at 500.
I can buy in for 500 at my 1-2 game in Springfield. At the MGM Springfield. And the 2-5, I'm pretty sure.
Our 1-3 game is 500. I like buying in for 1,000 for 2-5. I can't imagine playing so shallow.
In LA, a 1-2 game, the best you're going to buy in is for $100.
Wow.
Ryan would hate that. He just
would hate that.
Short stacks.
You wouldn't want everyone to play 1-2 game at the Gardens. Most you can buy in for that is $40.
20 big lines?
40.
They just up to 80.
Throw money at the pot.
That's a joke. That's
like
blackjack.
It's bingo there.
It's bingo. That's literally bingo. That's not poker. That's bingo. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous. I would hate that.
So, that's why I don't really play that much unless I'm playing with the 5-5 game where you can buy into a $600.
Oh, makes sense. So it sounds like you've come a long way since the start of your poker. What do you find is the best training material for you, or how do you study?
Yeah.
I'll usually study. I've read a couple books. The book I just read recently was The Course by Ed Miller. I also am on Red Chip Poker. They have like a web. Their thing is like basically you pay $5 a month, and then it's like basically a college syllabus, and they go from beginning to end, everything on training and stuff. And then I've also looked at I've been recently looking at Raise Your Edge.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's good that you're taking advantage of these resources for sure.
All right, and one of the other things is I just had to watch your videos, so I see that you use card protectors like action figures or fidget spinners in your vlog,
like Suited Superman.
Like Suited Superman. Do you always mix it up with the charms? Or do you have one that's particularly lucky for you, or are just card protectors your thing?
Recently, since coming back from the pandemic, I haven't really used any. But the two I use mostly I have like a Dodger figure and a Nightwing figure.
Nice.
And then I have like a Dodger card protector with the birth year and everything on it.
That's awesome. Do you find people recognize you? Like, do you kind of have are there a bunch of regulars? Like, do people know you as like action figure guy? You know what I mean?
No, not really. They'll know me as they'll ask me about what type of Dodger hat, because I have like 6 or 7, 8 different Dodger hats I wear.
Yeah.
So you're more recognizable for that. That makes sense. So one of the questions that we've got some really interesting answers on are just, what is your craziest poker story? I know that's very broad, but you could probably take it your own way.
I can probably a tournament maybe 4 or 5 years ago at Hollywood Park where I got my aces cracked with king 5 suited.
All in pre-flop or what?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
That's
some guy that was just throwing money away and stuff, and he calls my raise and shoves all in, and flop comes 5-5-5.
Oh, he flopped quads.
Flop quads on my aces, yeah.
Ooh, you're not getting away from
insane.
that.
That's so brutal.
Oh my god.
Did you have any other questions you want to ask, Ryan, or do you want to hop straight into the hand histories?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good. I mean, I think the only other question I have is like, what do you do other than poker? Like, what do you do for
That's
work?
a good question. I'm interested as well.
Nothing really. I got laid off when the pandemic started, so that's
You're
why
not alone?
That's why I've been taking more focus on my game.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, right when the pandemic hit, so then I just started taking more focus on my poker game, just so
Makes
I'd have
sense.
something. And then also I emailed Bryce about it today. Of all LA casinos just closed down again today for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, so that's something. Yeah, that's crazy. It's interesting that just every state is so incredibly different. Like, the MGM is about to open up. They're not opening up the poker room, but I think they're opening up in like a week or something. It's just every state is so different. Like New York, now the cases are going down. Florida, the cases are going way up. It's very, very interesting.
They closed down
right now.
They closed down in 19 different counties, but San Diego wasn't a part of it, so I might head down to San Diego this weekend. Play at Ocean's 11, Jamal.
Well, yeah, make sure to stay safe. It's definitely a crazy time, but
right.
Hopefully they're taking all the right precautions. But yeah, good luck out there. But so I guess we'll just hop straight into this first hand. Let me pull it up. I do not have the split screen today, so I'm not sure how exactly this is going to turn out. But we're going to try anyway. Okay.
Wow, it's like we're seeing into the Matrix.
Is that better?
That was pretty cool.
Does that look better?
Yeah, this looks great.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, so this is his hand, right? Not yours?
Yeah, this is his.
All right, so we are $300 deep in the small blind with King 10 of diamonds.
Yep, 1-3 at the Jamal Casino.
Oh, okay.
Raised to 15, and we decide to flat, standard, little on the loose side, but fine. So you decide to check, which I think you should be doing 100% of the time. He bets 15 into 45, and you decide to continue. So what are you thinking here on this continue? Do you just think he's choosing such a small sizing that if you pick up equity on the turn, you can reevaluate there? Or what kind of player was he? Oh, wow, I'm not clicking.
He was kind of a loose player, and he would usually fold to aggression. So I was thinking of just playing a turn and seeing where it goes.
So are you floating him with the intention to bluff on the turn, or are you floating with the intention to pick up equity and just reevaluate? Or what was kind of your game plan?
Pretty much both. I was maybe catch up some equity, if not bluff at it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hit him with a little check raise. I like it.
Let's see a turn. And the turn brings a Jack of Diamonds, so pretty good card for you.
The best card of the deck.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And he decides to bet 25. So interesting. So at this point, when he only bets 25, I think it signals weakness.
I agree.
When the diamond draw picks up, unless he has a hand like Ace King, which could be in his range considering his huge preflop resizing. Ace King, Ace Queen. He could have Ace 4 here, which might also just bet small, but like I could see him having a ton of 8s, 9s, 10s, hands of that nature, or even queens or kings, you know what I mean? But still betting this small signals almost weakness. I definitely don't think he's nutted. And with that in mind, I look to raise this turn because most of the time you're not going to be getting here on the river, and you can still decide to bluff. But what do you think here, Ryan? I think a raise here, especially because you still have a decent back. When he bets 20, I think you can raise to say 70 or something of that nature. I mean, he shouldn't have diamonds here much ever, and if he has a set, he shouldn't be betting so small. And unless he has exactly Ace Jack, I don't think he can. Ace 4 is not going to just jam on you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you put maximum pressure on the river, he could even potentially fold Ace 4. I just don't see him having too many of his top of his value range here. Like if he's betting, I think he's pretty marginal at best.
I just don't like his sizing particularly.
I don't
because
either.
It really the
I
problem
think
here
it's
is
a tell.
that
I think it's a sizing
it
tell.
is. I think it is a sizing tell, and I think the problem here is that by putting that small, I think for me that would almost make me lean towards things like, oh, he picked up equity with a diamond draw, or he has things like king queen that have picked up straight outs or something like that. But I agree with you that I read the small bet sizing here for marginal or draws. I don't know. What did you think in this spot here, Steven?
When he betted 25, I ended up just calling him, I believe, because I didn't feel like 3-betting him at this point. I should have, maybe. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't believe he had a big hand as well. That's why I just kept going with the story and just calling him.
Right. So, I mean, are you bluffing on Brick Rivers, or are you?
That's a good question.
Are you check folding or are you check raising?
I was basically gonna probably 3-bet him on a river.
Okay.
So were you gonna check it to him on a river and then just like raise him, or were you gonna bet into him on the river?
I was gonna bet big into him.
Okay, so not 3-bet.
I honestly
I'm sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so the river comes the queen, and we have the nuts. So you decide to go 95.
Was it 125 in the
interesting.
pot?
It was 95 into 125.
Yes.
So what sort of hand do you expect to call you here? Obviously, any ace.
Any ace or any 2-pair.
So interesting. I almost elect to go a little bigger here because I feel like if he has some shit hand like 9s or 10s, he's just gonna let it go. And I think a queen is like pretty decent for his range. Ace queen improves a ton. Pocket queens improves a ton.
Yeah.
So I actually look to go probably pot here. Obviously, we're just being nitpicky, and you got to call, which is at the end of the day what we want. And you bet pretty large, but I feel like he's either in. I feel like his range, he's either going to be calling a huge bet, or he's
either calling a huge bet or folding to any bet.
Yes,
Those
that is what I'm trying to say. Yes,
I agree.
100%.
So I think when you go for the sizing, I agree. I think that has to be your thought process. That on a river like this, it's pretty polarizing for the board, and therefore you can go bigger because either his value range has gotten better or his crap range is just folding to any bet anyway. So I think that's why we're critiquing the sizing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree. I could have went bigger on it.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you got to call ace jack. Exactly. So ace jack, I feel like if you bet pot, snaps you because what are you representing? Like you could float him with 5-6. You could float him with a diamond draw. You could float him with a worse ace. You could have ace 7, ace 4 that could still be looking to value bet this potentially.
Yeah, because he's never putting you on king 10 in a million years.
Yeah, so I mean, you got some good value and you won the hand, but I think you could have sized up a little bit more in the river.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
and it's a good thing you didn't raise the turn, like I said, because he's not folding ace jack here ever. He's not folding top 2, and he's probably ripping that exact hand in your face.
Yeah,
ace jack
especially when it bricks
for $15. Is interesting. So let me go back and oh my gosh, that is so horrible. Let me pull up the second hand. This is
Matrix.
This is the first time that I've not had 2 screens. Bear with me, viewers. I very much apologize. So we are about to pull up the second hand. Is this at the same casino, Ryan? Can you give some background?
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. I pulled both of them from the same blog because I just thought these were really 2 very interesting spots.
Okay. So let me go back to share screen. Excuse the matrix that I'm sure is about to occur. And let's go. Okay, yep, matrix.
And we're
all right, here we are. So we are under the gun with pocket 10s, and it is a 1-3 game this time, and we elect to raise to 15, which I think is fine, especially considering it seemed like 15 was pretty standard.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is I think this is clear because I want to make this clear because I think you would agree, Stephen, that in general, most people at Jamal are opening up to 15 at 1.
Yeah, 15 is the minimum. Yeah.
Right.
The minimum. Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've heard it's actually there.
That's so fun.
That is fun. All right, so the flop is 9 Jack King. If I remember correctly, I think you decide to lead for 20. Obviously, this board favors your range, and you have a gutter, third pair. What is your logic here? And when he flats, do you think he's ahead of you? Do you think he's on a draw? What are you putting him on?
When he flats, I'm thinking he might have a king or a jack. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. So obviously you double block the straight draw, and you block a flush draw that he could potentially have. So that eliminates the queen 10, 8 10s, ace 10 of diamonds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
one of the other things I want to ask is there anything that you recall directly about the player? I know because this one's live. We've been playing so many online hands that we don't know, but these are the juicy details. Do you remember anything about the player specifically?
I'm trying to remember this hand specifically right now.
That's fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is we're dropping this all on you anyway. So if you don't remember the player, 100%. I totally get it. But yeah, I think it's fine to bet here. I think when they call, I agree.
No, I don't remember the player. I don't think so.
Yeah, their range is super uncapped. Well, their range I think is actually kind of it's weird. What hands are they flatting with? What hands are they three betting you with? I think that's player dependent, but I think that their range does contain a lot of marginal hands that are going to hit this flop.
I think he has a ton of jacks and nines because what kings does he have? He doesn't have ace king.
He doesn't have ace king.
He probably doesn't have king queen. King queen off. I mean, maybe he could just flat.
And we block most of the king 10.
King 10 exactly. Yeah. So I think he has a lot more nines. Ace 9, ace jack, queen jack, 8 9, stuff like that. I mean, obviously you could still have a ton of hands and a ton of combos, but
let's see a turn.
I feel like you can barrel on a lot of turns. So let's see what you do. So the turn brings a 7, which is a pretty safe card. I mean, he could have 7 9 suited sometime. Ooh, he bet 60. So interesting. When he bet 60, wow, that is such an interesting bet.
It was 16 to 74. That's a big bet.
That is a big bet. And the SPR now, so you basically only have a
pot size behind.
Yeah, you have pot size behind. So this is going to put you in a really shitty situation when you call this turn, actually. So I think unless you're putting him on a diamond draw exactly, I think you're going to be put in a ton of tough situations on this river. Because I think he's just going to barrel do you plan if it's a deuce of clubs, if you're calling this turn, are you going to call the river if he bets 125?
I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure out this hand. I'm forgetting his hand.
Yeah. So it's so interesting because obviously you have the gut shot as well.
Yeah.
I think I lean towards a fold on this turn.
I think because he went so big.
I think he has a lot of jack nines, king jack.
Yeah.
Obviously, he could still have a set of 9s. I don't see him having a set of 7s. So I think he just has a ton of 2-pair combos in this situation. And you double blocking the straight as well as having the 10 of diamonds in your hand, I think is huge. Because what flush draws exactly can we put him on? Is he going to play ace queen of diamonds this aggressively? And he potentially could be 3-betting that pre-flop. Obviously, we don't know the player archetype here. But I think I lean towards a fold on the turn, and maybe that's a little nitty, and it's very player dependent, but I think he's just putting you in a ton of difficult situations on the river, and if you guys were incredibly deep, I think it would be lean towards the call a little more, but having only a 1-to-1 stack pot ratio, I think is just going to put you in a horrible situation on the vast majority of river cards. There's what card's good for you besides an 8 and a 10? The answer is really none. But I mean, I don't think it's a horrible call by any means. I think you just have to be looking to this river and thinking about what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
So let's see what the river is and let's see what happens. So the river is an ace of diamonds, which pretty horrible card.
Yeah, one of the worst in the deck.
I don't think you can call any bet here. All of the diamonds get here. I mean, he probably doesn't have queen 10, obviously, but his 2 pairs are still good. So I'm interested in what he sizes here. I'm pretty sure you just check it over, unless you decide to just rip it in his face. So you check, correct play, and he bets 150. So I even his bluffs, like even if he decided to bluff with say. The ace queen we mentioned. I mean, ace 10, we can't even. He doesn't have ace 10. You double block ace 10. So I think he just has it here. Like, it's interesting that he bets this. Like, are we putting him on the flush? Can 2-pair bet here? I feel like 2-pair can't bluff here. But it's what flushes does he have? Queen 8 of diamonds? Like, are you telling me you have exactly king queen of diamonds, which I feel like should be 3-betting here in position? Like, yes, you're under the gun, but king queen of diamonds, I don't know. I'd look to isolate because it could bring in some other people, but interesting. It's a very interesting bet. I think you made the right laydown. Whether he has king jack, whether he has a flush, I think you are beat here probably 95% of the time. You definitely do not have the pot odds to call, and I think you made the correct laydown.
Yeah, I still don't remember this.
You've been playing too many hands. You've been putting in a ton of hours. That's understandable. One hand I do want to go over is from your last vlog. I saw that you had pocket deuces and ended up making a fairly loose call. I think he raised to 20 and he repopped it. I think he jammed for 120.
So
yeah, he
he
raised
raised
120.
So was this guy just a crazy loose player, or what went into that decision?
Yeah,
Okay,
he was playing pretty loose that whole night, and he showed a couple bluffs early on, so I decided to call him on one time, and he actually had ace king, and luckily the deuces held.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome to have deuces hold and to be against ace king there, because yeah, I mean if he has an overpair, you're fairly dead in the water. But I think that just goes to show the action there is crazy.
Right.
And Ryan and I have to make it out there and play a session with you sometime. So yeah,
that's some true gambling out there.
That's some true.
No, LA is like the Wild West. If you spend in Vegas, LA is even more crazy. If you can make it in LA, you can make it in anywhere.
I mean,
Very
Vegas action isn't always crazy. Obviously, it's crazy during the World Series and during like peak touristy summer, all that good stuff. But if you go to like a Wednesday game, like at the Bellagio, it's not going to be like the juiciest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on to our podcast today. You guys should definitely check him out. He produced a lot of content, a lot of good vlogs. And he's out there where he's got a poker room. We've got closed down rooms and just playing in some home games and all that good stuff. But yeah, for sure, go check him out. Keep grinding, man. And keep grinding, man. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Take care.
Have a good night, Steven.
Alrighty, so we got 2 more hands for you guys. Let me pull them up. So this next hand is your hand. Do you want to give a little background on this, Ryan?
Yeah, sure. So I was sitting on my couch the other night, and speaking of not being prepared for sessions, Bryce texts me and says, "Hey, you want to play in this tournament right now? You should take a seat." And so I did, and Bryce offered me a nice little bullet in the tournament. Cool stake, I was like, okay,
let's not expose me. Let's not expose me.
Bryce is a staker. He likes to. I mean, that's fine. I mean, you and I have swapped action before and things,
for sure,
which is fun. I think it's nice. But
absolutely.
So now we've gone to the point where, in fact, all three we both cashed. Bryce came in third.
Oh, this is against Zach. I did get in third. I lost 3 of a kind to 3 of a kind. Pretty sick. I had the biggest chip lead you've ever seen. I had like 5x second place, and I blew it, and I got third. Thankfully, I cashed, but pretty gross, pretty upset.
It was all good.
Anyways,
right. So we're heads up for the dub here. We're not super deep, so I think one of the things to look at. I actually wrote down how many big blinds we are deep. So I'm 24. I'm 24 big blinds deep, and he's about 32 big blinds deep. Right. So we're 2.55K blinds. It's been an interesting matchup. I think things that I'll note about Zach is that he's very passive, heads up, which isn't a good thing when you're this shallow.
Yes and no. Sorry to cut you off. We saw him make some crazy. Oh my gosh! Oops.
We did see him
make some crazy moves. Like I don't remember the pot. You called him down with like third pair when he bet like 2/3 pot. Whoa, is this the hand? If so, oops. This is totally the hand. That makes sense. I have not looked at. I am not as prepared because of my 8-hour drive, 4 hours of sleep.
No, you're good. That's totally fine. I love how he pulled this one. But yeah, so this is what I'm saying is to this point, it's been interesting. We've kind of been going back and forth. We started out pretty much even, and neither one of us has really put the other at a super big disadvantage. So this hand was pretty significant. So I'm here with 5-6 off. I think heads up, this is an open off of this many big blinds, and I opened it up, I think, to like 1 or 2 points.
When he says this should be opening, obviously we don't have that many big blinds, but we should be opening against a passive player virtually.
Correct.
All the time.
If he's folding the big blind too often.
Percent of our range, 95% of our range.
Yeah.
So he flats.
Fine. I'm very happy to see a flop here.
If it'll come. Oh, I have to press play. Damn good flop for 5-6.
Really good flop. And so this gets interesting when he decides to bet into me here. He just donk leads out for just a big blind, which made it just confuses me because I don't really know how do you put someone on a range of hands when they're just donk leading one big blind. It could have been a misclick, because
it's not a misclick.
It wasn't because he not a misclick. He does this from time to time where he will just click a big blind over to you. And the funny part is like, I really don't know what to put him on here. And
He does polarize it, which is interesting. But when he does it on the river, it's typically for value. And when he does it on the flop, I think it's typically a bluff. Like, I know he's literally bluffing one big blind, which I don't even want to discuss how horrible
one big blind into 4. But 5.
So you decide to raise 16K. Yeah. Interesting. Oh my God, where'd the hand go?
So, I think really most of the reason why I did this was because I think I'm ahead here. I have top pair. I block 4-6. So, I think he could have ace. Was it ace 4 makes a straight here?
He does not have ace 4 here.
Well, yeah, ace 4.
I hope he would not play this.
Flats, but ace 4 suited should re-raise. So,
yeah.
I really don't see myself being behind here that much ever.
I think you're ahead here all the time, and I think also having the gutter ball helps a little bit.
It helps a lot.
I think the raise is fine. I think you're ahead, and I think he's gonna call with his 9-10 suited, like literally anything. I think he's calling with because of the player archetype. I played with him. I agree with your raise. I think you want to put more money in the pot. He's gonna call you with any deuce, any 3, and if he has a 5, we can reevaluate turn and see what's up, but. It's interesting because obviously your stack is 90K and there's already 60K in the pot, and we have now second pair. So this is interesting how you play it.
This is interesting how I play it. And in hindsight, so he bets 6K into 60,000. So I think when he does this, like again, I really have absolutely no idea what to put him on, and I don't really know. Like if he has something like ace high here. I'm getting the most amazing price in the world to call down with my pair, but I don't know. I don't know why I didn't repop him again here. What bets this? What bets this?
Like, I think I look to repop him simply because if he has a hand, like, I don't know, ace jack.
That's the thing. I don't know.
Any 1 over card, like, it's so interesting. It's fine to hang. Like, you have to call river though. Like, assuming. I'm interested. I think the river's a pretty damn high card, which is
an
bad.
ace.
It's an ace. Oh my God, that's the worst card.
It is the worst card.
4 to a straight.
4 to a straight.
His aces that were bluffing gets there. I'm interested in this, and then he sizes. I think more. Exactly. He bets 34K. Like, I am looking here. If I'm Ryan, and I'm like, I'm a freaking idiot for not raising turn. Like this man does not have a queen. He doesn't have a queen. If he has a 4, also like. Obvious. Oh, gosh, that's just it's sick. And you decide to make the call. So what the hell are you thinking calling here?
Again,
you're essentially like you're leaving yourself. How much did he bet? And how much do you have? 50K before?
50K behind. That's after.
Okay, so you're leaving yourself with 10 big blinds, which is possible.
I think that was honestly a part of it too. Was that he gave me the price to? I think on this river. It's a jam or fold, I think, for him. If you're gonna go for bluff or for value here,
I agree.
I'm still gonna, but you put him in a more difficult
he never
spot
does that. He never pots.
He never does it.
I've never seen him pot it ever. So, and this is betting big for him, and he doesn't normally run bluffs this big. So I'd be scared. I like the call. You made a sick call. I was watching, and I texted you immediately when it happened. like that's a sick freaking call, man. Like. Someone is good at poker. I'm sure that was a confidence booster. Ryan went on to win the match, so props to him. And, pretty impressive. So we have one more hand for you guys. So I've been playing a lot of heads up. And
we've been playing a lot of heads up.
So my good friend Jamie, a.k.a. Ananafish, I was playing...
Greatest tag in online poker.
2 sessions, I think, this last week for a few hours, and as they went on, they probably got progressively more actiony. He liked to pot a lot of the flops, and it was just very action, and my VPIP went way down, and I am known to play a lot of hands, so anyone watching this, my VPIP was about 55% a heads-up match.
That's low for heads-up
whereas normally it's about 70-ish%, depending on the player.
Yeah.
But yeah, 50 is incredibly low for me and incredibly low for anyone in a heads-up game. So anyways, thank you for Ryan for making this. My pair was not working, and he put a lot of effort into this this log. So anyways, I am 350 effective. He's 359 effective, and we both bought in for 200. So obviously this game's been going on a little while. People have rebought a little.
Yeah.
It's
And I think that's one of the fun
sure.
aspects of this is that you are literally they're 350 big blinds deep. Like
Which
you
is
are
awesome. I love playing like this. I love playing like this.
I totally agree.
So this is a fun hand. So our standard, I normally start a game and do 3, or I normally start off 3x, but because he was calling me so light, I decided to go 4x, and we're so deep, so I think 4x is fine. Obviously, I wouldn't have done it otherwise. And I can't remember. He decides to raise me to 11, incredibly small. I'm not folding here, probably. Not even 3x. Yeah, I'm tossing in that call with a 6-10 of diamonds.
Right, you're calling 7 to win 22.
So 490. This hand is so interesting and so player dependent, and just do not try this at home. It's just all I'm gonna say. So
when this flop comes out, what are you thinking?
Oh my god!
Especially when he bets. When he bets into you here.
He's donk leading a lot. He donk led with a lot of top pairs, but he also would donk lead with like king 6 off here. Just 0 equity. Just try to take down the pot. I'm not folding a flush draw. I have backdoor straight equity. I mean, obviously.
You got 9 outs and there's a lot of turns.
I'm not folding. This is a big bet, but I'm not folding. I don't think raising makes much sense at all, because if he does have that top pair, he's probably just going to rip it in my face with ace 9, honestly. So I'm not looking to raise here.
I agree.
I flat. So the turn brings a 3. So obviously we pick up the gutter ball, and he checks to me, and I pot it.
Why?
So, good question. So I think if I get a diamond on the river, I am just going to get so much money, because I don't normally pot with just a flush draw. So that's my logic. And also any 5 I think is so disguised, and I think he could have like some rag aces, ace 8, ace 7. If he has ace 9 here, I think he re-raises me, and I think I can fold pretty easily, but I don't see him having that. And if he has a hand, I also don't see him having too many aces. I think they look to size up a little more pre-flop, and I think the 11 honestly was a sizing tell. I forget what
I was about to say that too, because usually people, just hit the 3x button.
A non-fish specifically will raise an ace 4x. He will snap 4x me with any ace. So
curious.
I think he bets his 9 again. I think he leads out into me. So
I think the check is really interesting that he doesn't continue here,
I think he could have a lot of 4-5s, which honestly I think puts more pressure on me than it does. I think he could have 6s, 7s, 8s, stuff like that. But I think I can put a lot of pressure on this river, and I think I can either bluff the river, or if he does somehow have like some 2 pair that he's not folding, if I hit my flush, I think I can get all the money in. So obviously, this hand is crazy. I think it shows total weakness. And when he flats my pot bet, still total weakness.
You're just confused at that point.
So the river comes at 10. It comes at 10. And he decides...
For what sizing?
To rip it in my face.
100 277 into 166.
277 into 166.
I'm doing some math over here.
So when he rips it, I'm just sitting here like top pair is like the best freaking card I could have got. Like what does he have?
Other than a
flush. Name a hand that he has that makes sense. Let's think about it. Let's say he has ace 5. Is ace 5 really going to let me see a free turn card? And is he really going to bet into me for this amount? What am I calling him with? Yes, I bet turn. Does he just hope I have a set of 3s or 4s here? Which honestly probably would call this player specifically. But what am I calling with? I think this just looks so bluffy. If he drilled a set of 10s, no way. He's betting turn.
No way, especially
he's betting turn. And obviously I blocked that with the 10. So it just looks so bluffy. Let's try and think of a value hand that he has.
Ace 5.
Does he decide to 9-10 makes some sense, but I still think against this player specifically, he's playing it more aggressively.
Yeah, he's not checking turn with 9-10.
Does he have 10-4, 10 deuce? I block that with the 10. That hand makes some sense. I mean, he's calling a pot bet on the turn with 10-4. Honestly, he'd do it because he's thinking, what 9 bets this big? Which I honestly kind of respect. But also this man has any range. He could have 10-4. He could have 10 deuce. But it doesn't make sense. like 10 deuce, calling a pot bet, if you're that much of a sicko and decide to shove this river for $277 when I could easily have 9-10, I could have a set, like, I think it's such a crazy bluff because this board is pretty freaking dry. Unless he's putting me exactly on a diamond draw, this is a ballsy bluff. But his value hands don't make sense. I decide to go with my read, and I toss in the call. And he rolls over. King Jack offsuit.
Question.
I am just sitting here like, holy hell. But like, top pair here is the nuts. Like, he's not gonna bet ace 10 here. It's so polarizing. And what hand are you telling me you have? You don't have 5-6. Maybe you have 5-6 more than you have ace 5. I block it with the 6 also.
Yes,
so, like,
that's another key
what
thing.
are you telling me you have?
Right.
I don't understand it, and I think this is a fairly sick call. I've never called this much of an overbet before. I've called overbets and been correct. I've called 1.25 overbets and been correct. This is just such a sick bet, and it's a tilted bet, and it's give me this damn pot. I just think it's so crazy that he wanted to float this exact board. I think it's okay to float boards sometimes with the intention to bluff, but how are you going to float a 4-9 deuce 3 board when I'm betting
an ace?
pot on the turn?
If this is ace jack,
He has zero equity. He has 2 overcards. Exactly. When I bet pot, what do you think I'm betting with? Ace 9? Okay, you've got 2 overs. I could have a set, you could be dead in the water. I could have a straight, you could be dead in the water. Like,
and this river card isn't the one to bluff at. I mean,
I can't imagine the tilt. If I have ace 5, he's mad. Like, what the hell? But like, I can't imagine what. Like, he probably threw his phone. He probably punched a hole in the wall. Like, I called him with 10-6. I called him with a pair. I called him with a shit pair. Top pair with a shit.
Top
kicker.
Pair, bad kicker.
But like, I think this was just a crazy hand, and I think
sometimes you gotta trust your gut, kids. You know.
Yeah, sometimes you have to trust your gut, and I don't recommend playing 10-6 suited this aggressively against most opponents. I don't suggest playing 10-6 suited at all. But in a heads-up game,
I think match you gotta. Yeah.
I think I could have sized down a little on the turn, but I think I explained my logic pretty well.
Yeah,
but,
I also agree.
He was potting literally every single flop, and I think my potting turn was kind of that meta of okay, let's pot.
Hey, you've been doing it to me, I'll do it to you. And the fact that he called with King Jack there, I think, yeah, I would agree that's just not. It doesn't, because it doesn't make sense in that river.
It doesn't make sense. And a heads up is just a completely different beast. I've got a heads up match actually at 9:30 tonight. Excited for that. Definitely probably gonna cut the podcast short today. Gonna go eat some pizza. Haven't eaten in about 10 hours. Been in the car for 8 hours. Probably gonna bounce. I apologize for the poor quality of this vlog. I thank Ryan for all the effort he put into this. Thank you for our guest Steven for coming on. Check out his vlog. Definitely some interesting content. And we will see you next week. And we will see you with better camera quality, more prepared Bryce. And I am looking forward to it. Any closing words?
Send us poker hands.
Send us poker hands.
Bryce.
Absolutely. DM me. I look forward to it.
So fun.
They are. Thank you very much. And I'm going to enjoy my vacation. I'll drink a beer for you, Ryan. And see you guys.